Welcome to the Paisans podcast. We're your hosts, the brothers from other mothers, Dante, Dave, and Sark. Join us as we talk about current events, our wives, kids, or whatever else life is throwing at us this week. You're with the Paisans, you're with family. There was these clips that I saw on Facebook that just intrigued me, and I found myself watching them for minutes and minutes and minutes on end, which, as you know, minutes become hours on Facebook. So I figured I would share that with you guys for a minute or so, and you could take a look and see, because it's these dogs. These people own these packs of dogs in England, and they, for free, at least from what I can tell, they offer this service to local farmers where they're like, if you have a rat infestation, because apparently the rats infest the bales of hay that they have that are food for the cows and stuff. And then I guess they shit in the bales. And then so I don't know if that stops the cows and stuff from eating them, but that's an issue. They make burrows, huge burrows under the pig pens and stuff like that. So these guys come in and they film it all, and they're like lifting up the pig pens, and it's like cockroaches in the lights, like they're everywhere and they scatter, and they have, like 10 dogs. They're not all terriers, but there's like a bunch of them that are terriers, and these dogs are just awesome. They're just awesome. As a dog lover, I just love seeing them do what they're kind of born to do and how much they love it. It's how much they love it that I just love. I just love that they love it.
The tails are probably wagging while they're making the kills, right? I mean, the tails are probably going. They're just in their glory.
Let's see, 100%. Let's see, what am I sharing? I didn't cue it up to a good second, but just give it a minute.
Cap's on one. Get on, Cap. Cap's on one. Look at that.
Cap's definitely on one.
That kill move, that shake.
Look at him. Oh, my God.
It looks like Kiwi sticking her head in the dirt. Look at that.
The heads are just...
Dang, she got her whole head down in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guys are laughing.
Yeah.
Look at little Dotson. Look at him, man.
Yeah, he's even doing work.
Look at him.
They're awesome.
And his buddy wants to share with him. He can easily get his own in this pile.
Look at this dude. Man, that white one looks like my folks' old dog. It's a terrier.
I think this is Pip right here. So Pip is like the all-star. Pip gets everybody.
You know all their names.
Oh, yeah. Pip is number 17.
Pro.
Dag, look at that.
You see all the burrow holes too. Like you can see that the rats have like a whole. It's a massive infestation.
Gracie, good girl.
You can see the rat trying to bite it back too. Like the rat can't do anything to defend itself.
Yeah. All of these dogs will have a field day with a rat.
Oh, they are having the time.
Look at their tails. Like they're like in heaven.
That looks like my dog right there, the one on the left. They're right there. The head down. That's what she does too.
Yep.
Except in the covers with feet, not with rats. But I'm sure she'd do it with rats. Oh, look at that. Oops. That move.
See what I mean? Yeah. So they shake their head like that to just break every bone in its body. Oh
yeah.
I just like I feel it sucking me in. I could watch this all day.
How did you find this?
I mean, it's just like it just showed up in my feed, man. You know, at one point it just showed up in my feed.
Yeah,
and I watched it, and then once you watch like 30 seconds of a thing, it's guess what? That's all you're gonna get.
Yep.
And now it's very all or nothing. Not to talk about the Facebook feed too much, but now it's very all or nothing. I definitely find myself, it's like you watch something for 30 seconds, all of a sudden that's all I'm getting. And things that I was getting like 2 days ago, it's like, oh, you're not into that anymore, are you?
Yeah, and then you have to search really hard for it if you want to find it again, right?
Yeah. And so I find myself like, if I see something and I'm like, I don't want that, I scroll past it as quickly as possible, because if you even stop to look at it, it recognizes. You know,
that's right, and that's all you get. Look at that. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, every now and again, 2 or 3 of them will get the same rat. Sometimes they actually have to. Yeah, look.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh. So they'll like blur it out because the rat obviously starts to tear. Look. Oh. See?
They're a bit happier now.
They love it.
Tail's going.
It's just wonderful, man. They just, I mean, I just love dogs so much. They just, and they're so happy too, not only because this is what they live to do, but they know that they're making you so happy.
I do think this is like they just live to do work. Like they're working right now, and they're like working hard.
100%. 100%.
And they're loving it.
Oh,
like I just there's one in there. There's a couple in
there. Yep. This guy's gonna force it out.
Yeah, because he like wants the dogs to kill them all. He's like,
of course,
I could grab this one. I could grab this one and do it myself, but I'd rather the dog do it.
Yeah, they're making money, and it's great exercise and great fun for the
exactly.
For the dogs.
They're all going to sleep so well tonight.
I think that's the biggest part. It's the exercise part. That's, that's the most important part for the dog. I think.
Yes, but it's like you said, Dave. The fact that they're born to do it, like any human, you know, you work this hard, and you're probably going to be complaining. And these dogs are just like, oh man, they just can't get enough.
I would have been sitting down 5 minutes ago if I was doing this. These dogs are still like really going.
I wouldn't want to get mud on my sneakers.
You know, they can smell the rats. So they signal that oh, look at that. Oh,
yeah.
Went in there and got it.
And they were fighting over it. Or like, they're both going for it.
Oh, look at that. Oh, man. Whew. Oops. All right.
You know that I first noticed that kill move. So like growing up, I had like golden retriever. Even then when I was a little bit older, like my brother, his dog was a golden retriever. So they didn't do that. And the first exposure I had to that kill move was my wife's, at the time we weren't married, when we were dating, she had a toy poodle in the house. And when it played with the toys, it would do that. It would like growl, you know, and like shaking its head. And so like let go, and the toy would like fling across the room, and we would die laughing. And sure enough, our dog now, toy poodle, you know, and those are poodles mixed with terriers. And she does it every time she's playing with her toys. Every time it's like, and sometimes she'll like really, you know, go at it. And it's amazing.
It's awesome.
It's amazing to see, you know, and like it had me thinking too, I would pay to do something like that to bring her. Like my wife would never forgive me for doing that. But if they had something like that locally, I would pay to take her to do that for an afternoon.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the world we live in today, by the way, that it's like, oh, let me pay for the chance to go work on a farm for a day, you know? And totally. I totally think you're right, Mike. Like dog park or that, I think the dog would rather do that. I think I was saying originally when I showed you guys that video, I thought Bullet would be awesome at that job too.
Oh, because yeah, he would love that. Would be. I would love to do that too. I mean, I would definitely pay to do something like that. Also, because I know it would be good for him. He would absolutely love that. I feel like, I mean, he basically did it at your house at a much smaller scale when there was a mouse outside.
Yeah, there was something else he got too at one point. I want to say it was a chipmunk or something. Like he was definitely.
Oh, really?
Working. He was working. Yeah. But Mike, I don't know if I told you that story, but we were I had my grill at the time had on the side, it had like the flat pan that you're theoretically going to be pulling out and like making hot cakes on while you're grilling in the morning, which is such a joke. Like they sell you on these, you pay an extra $75. Oh yeah, I could do, and you never use the damn thing. And sure enough, I never even opened it. But Bullet was like signaling on it. Like I was just there on the grill, and he was just like all up on it, like to the point where I was like, "What is going on? Like, what's wrong with you?" And I pulled it out, and as soon as I opened it up, there were two mice in there, and one popped out, and the other ran back in to hide. And the one that popped out, it hit the ground. I mean, he was all over the thing, like in a second, like he was just like, and I was like, whoa, like I was so impressed because I had no idea that they were in there. I was like freaked out because of just like the action and stuff. And then of course he was looking for the other one because the other one got in there somewhere. So he went, and I think, I don't recall anymore. I don't want to say what happened because I can't remember if there was a second one and if he got it or if we were looking, but we never did find it. I think that might have been what it was. And then as long as I had that grill, every time he came to my house, boom,
he remembered
he made a beeline for it. He was all over it.
I'm pretty sure he did it this past time, this past Christmas when we brought him there. I think it's every time he's back there. It's like the first place he kind of sniffs.
I mean, maybe that I don't have the same grill, so he may recognize that there's something there, but it smells so differently. I'm not sure he's going to pick up on that, but maybe. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I now have my smoker in the same spot, so there's something there. But
do you remember when we were there and he picked up the bullfrog from like behind your shed, or like there's a random frog there, and then he dropped it in the pool. Like he dropped it in the pool.
He didn't even kill it. Right?
No. He dropped it in the pool. I think the frog released some sort of defense because remember he was kind of like frothing at the mouth, and I was like, I was like a little concerned, but it only lasted, I don't know, like 20 minutes or so. But I remember he dropped it in the pool, and the frog was trying to get out, and he was like basically following it the whole way, just like waiting for it to come out. I don't know. We got it out somehow, because it was only in there for a second. And then it actually was able to escape from him because I don't know. He had a moment of stupidity, it seemed like. And he just like basically let this thing go like right between his legs, and he didn't realize it. And then it just hopped out of the fence. And then when he realized it, what got by him and got through the fence, he was just barking at it for.
Yeah, they do that
because it was like he saw it on the other side of the fence, was just barking at it. I mean, so I don't know if he was trying to play with it. Like I'm not sure what the instinct, I guess, is to. It's a prey animal, I assume, right? And that's why he goes for it.
Yes, it's hard to say, man. I don't know. I would say definitely, except you think about it then too, and like retrievers have that sort of natural soft bite instinct, and then other types of dogs are just pointers, and so they don't bite, and they've been sort of bred. So you have to assume that the breeders had the one dog that was maybe hesitant to go, and so they bred that dog, and over time they somehow, I mean, the fact that they literally point is amazing. I don't know how you bred that, but the fact that some know to pick up the prey and bring it back to you gently and not ruin it, and then you have others like the ratters who are just like, let me get my hands on it because I want to tear it apart as much as I possibly can, my mouth on it. So I don't know. It's hard to say what. Here's one thing I figure. They're all attracted to movement. So there's a frog, it's jumping around. He's going to investigate it. Putting it in his mouth to see whether it's something he could eat, whether that doesn't surprise me. He's pretty smart. So, I mean, I'm not sure why he didn't just eat it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe, Dave, he tasted something on it and was like, ooh, this, and maybe for all we know, him not eating it was a result of whatever he tasted, and he did froth at the mouth, but not eating it prevented him from actually getting really sick.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, those dogs that are ratting in those videos, like they drop them after they're dead, right? They shake it dead and they drop it, and then they're kind of like on to the next one, right? They don't try eating it, really, do they?
I've watched enough of the videos on those guys. They they tell them to drop it, and they tell them when it's dead. They say it's dead, it's dead, it's dead, and then the dog drops it, and the dog will move on. I don't know if instinctively the dog would just try and eat it.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet that he wouldn't. I think you're probably right, Mike, but he might just keep tearing at it endlessly. I don't know. I mean, there's clearly some level of training. They clearly have trained those dogs.
Totally.
You train a dog for that type of behavior. Like a lot of dogs will fetch a thing, but to get it to bring back to you and hand to you or drop at your feet, you have to train the dog to do that part.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, like the training is kind of waking up, what's in its DNA for a 100%. Lot of those breeds. Like you don't 100%. Even have to do that much to bring it to the surface,
That's right.
You just throw
that's
a
why your
ball
labs
in the yard.
And your Goldens, to teach them to fetch is easy, right? Like you said, that's exactly right. You're tapping into that natural instinct. Whereas, some other dogs who might be more like terriers and stuff, they might be less inclined to play fetch because it's not, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I mean, I'm sure you could teach any dog to play fetch. It just is a matter of whether, to your point, does it come more easily for certain dogs? I would assume it does. I don't know.
Do you guys ever
no
notice
interest in fetching?
Well, I was going to say, like, do you ever notice those types of behaviors and then look it up? Like, do you ever go down one of those rabbit holes? I did that a little bit with the toy poodle breed, but then that kind of like branches off to other breeds. But some of the history, where they came from and what they were originally trained to do. So, for example, like the poodles were water dogs. So like the hunter would shoot down the duck would land in the water, and then the poodle would go out into the water and bring the duck back. And I think part of that kill move also was like to make sure it's dead, and also like the ratting or the routing for vermin. And we're like, well, that makes sense. The way that like if you scratch your fingers under a pillow or something, like she likes that. She goes crazy, like she's burrowing under the thing, and you go, okay, maybe it's from that. And then they also have a tendency to stand on their back legs without any support. Like she can go up on her back legs and kind of move around like that. And they attribute that to them being circus dogs. So they would wear like the little ballerina skirts, and like the ringleader would hold his hand up or something, and the dog would twirl around. So I don't know if it was taught like then, and so you're seeing that now, or was it even something that predated even that?
Dogs have been obviously we have so many different breeds because we have bred them, because it takes so few generations to significantly change the dog, that all these different breeds that exist, none of them are natural. The wolf, so like wolf, like husky, is probably the most natural dog there is. Otherwise, the rest, they're all like seriously mutated from whatever they evolved naturally.
Yes.
But to your point, and I'm just thinking this through out loud here, we as humans, we've interceded and bred for specific traits.
Right.
So the dog in the pack that we notice just doesn't bite that hard. We breed with our most docile female, and maybe we get among those, we get the one that has even less of a bite. In fact, I've trained this one to just like pick something up and bring it to me, and it doesn't hurt at all. Okay, and I'm going to breed him again.
Yes.
And now by the fourth generation, you're like, look, I got a dog that will not clamp down on prey. Like, meanwhile, I've got another dog that is, 4 inches shorter in stature and can get underneath things and into like tight spaces where I need to get at rats or like you said, vermin. It's amazing.
100%.
It's like, I wish my relationships with humans could be so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the dog doesn't want you because you drive a nice car. The dog doesn't like you because you can give it anything but food. It's just awesome.
they're so in the moment too. So I mean, it's like what they see on their walk when they come back to the house, they're just like, oh look, now I'm just looking at you. Like now it's just me and you here. Like and we like now we're home. Like that's so great.
Exactly. No matter what's happening,
I do love that.
with it.
Right. I've been thinking about this. I started thinking about this like when the pandemic hit. I'm envious of the dogs because it's like all this other stuff's going on in the world, and it's like they're just like Bullet's laying here right now, just asleep. Just
Right.
right there. Like they have zero worries, zero cares, and as long as they're with their people or their pack,
That's
if you
right.
want to call it, it's like
That's
that's
all
all
they
that
want.
matters to them.
Yep,
At this
that's
point,
right.
like the domesticated dog, at least. I mean, because
Of course.
we're talking about these dogs that like to work and stuff. I mean, but
Yeah.
we have domesticated them so much that they could just lay next to you now and just do
Yeah.
nothing and be fine.
You know, it's funny you mentioned domesticated because I've been watching, whenever I watch these nature shows, they talk about the wild dogs. You see the packs of wild dogs and they're competing with the hyenas and the lions and things like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you, you do not want to get, if you're a prey animal, you do not want to get taken down by the wild dog. They just start eating. They don't wait for you to die. They don't try and kill you. They all just start taking bites. That's how they work. And they go for the nether regions first. They go for the soft underbelly first. They want to cut you open so they can eat all your highly nutritious organs. And they just eat, man. It's that's got to be the worst.
Oh.
It's
Hyenas
funny,
are kind of like that too, I think, right?
They might be. I don't know much about hyenas, but I just I was watching one of these shows and they were like the wild dogs are, among the prey animals. It's got to be the worst death is to go to the wild dogs because man, a tiger, a lion, a coot, all the big cats, they'll all kill you first. Like they want to suffocate you, and then they will eat. The wild dogs can't. They don't have that luxury because if they take the time it takes to kill you, by that time then there's all these other animals. So the second they get something, they just start eating it because they know that as soon as the lion shows up, he's going to take over. So they got to get while the getting's good. Ugh, that's rough.
And
dude.
you're the rat.
Yeah,
I'm pulling you apart.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we went to the National Zoo in DC a couple of years ago, and they had those wild dogs were there. There's like a little, not even little, like a decent sized enclosure, and you could hear them like barking and snarling and howling like before you were even close to the thing, and it just sounded freaky as hell. It was just like shrilling. And then when you saw them and those two things combined, and then you're like reading the thing about it, it was like, man, if I just saw this thing, it would scare the crap out of me. It was like scarier than a wolf too, because it was like they were making these noises like, it was scary.
Well,
Just
it's understandable
rats,
why people can be afraid of dogs. Like we all love dogs, we all have dogs, but I think I can at least understand why people would be nervous to be around a dog. It's almost in our DNA as well, back from early man, defending itself from wild dogs,
wolves.
Wolves, exactly.
Wolves,
So you can understand it too. I mean, but most dogs are super friendly and they're not going to do anything to you. But
more and more dogs now, Dave. You and I see this too. Like more and more dogs, people don't know how to train them. They don't know how to take care of them. No. So the dogs are, unfortunately, it's not the dog's fault. It's the owner's fault. But the dogs are ill-trained, or not trained at all, and they're anxious, and it's a shame. So I can understand, like you said, I can understand people being afraid of dogs. When I was younger, I went through a phase where I was sort of afraid of dogs for a few years. We had a neighbor who had a little terrier, and she got divorced, unfortunately, and she had a little boy. And like a year later, she decided to get this dog. And classic example, she had no idea how to train the dog. The dog, whatever. And I would go over sometimes to babysit for this kid, and the dog was just exhibiting. I mean, if I dealt with this today, I would know. It would be obviously a different world. I would know exactly how to deal with this dog. But at the time, I had no idea how to deal with this dog. Like it would bark at you, and it would nip at your heels, and like I was, then I'd pull away, and you do the classic. And now it's. The dog's exhibiting dominant behavior and all this crap. Anyway, so I went through a whole phase where I was sort of not like, oh my God, but just definitely like nervous and like untrusting of dogs. And I don't know how or when it changed, but it's somewhere along the line, obviously, that, that fell away. I'm not at all scared of dogs anymore. But so to your point, Dave, like, I definitely know how people can be scared of dogs.
Yeah.
And it's not irrational. I mean, some dogs are big, dude. And if they decide to take a clamp onto your arm, like, you're going to do a lot of bleeding, Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys. But this all came from me wanting to show you guys the terrier. So now you've seen the ratters. I love those dogs, and I should give them a plug if I can find the name.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think for a second. These are the Suffolk and Norfolk Rat Pack. You can find them on Facebook. Suffolk and Norfolk.
Is that in the States, Don, or is that somewhere else?
No, they're in the UK. They actually have a website, Suffolk and Norfolk ratpack.co.uk.
I wonder if they talk to us. Why not?
Yeah, well, maybe they would. They just posted this today. Like, it's a co-op, agricultural cooperative. God bless them. They got over 300,000 followers.
They'd have no
so
reason
I'm not the only
to
one.
talk to us, but
Yes.
But maybe they will. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I love it. Good stuff.